But yeah, this one guy came down. He'd got it on his bucket list of things he wanted to do before he died, and he ended up just having a little skate, but then chatting all evening with one of our coaches. Gave him a lot of time and listened to him, and then he went away, and we didn't see him for a while. And he popped back in before he was leaving to go back to his home country, and he said to our coach, who was there at the time, "I just wanted to say thank you to you because I was making skateboarding the last thing I was going to do before I committed suicide. And the reason I didn't commit suicide was because of the conversation I had with you. You gave me a reason to keep going."
Amos Madra.
Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm joined by John Haines from Projekts Manchester. John, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Amos. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
John, Projekts Manchester, talk to us about that. It's a very interesting place. It's got a lot of history. It's very fresh, and there's a lot still to come.
Yeah, it does have a fairly long history. We started back in 2004 with just a small wooden skate park underneath the Mancunian Way flyover in Ardwick, actually on the very border of Ardwick and the city centre. And over the years, we've just developed the site, based on the demand that there is for skateboarding and skateboarding related activities. So started off with this little wooden park, no power, no electricity, no running water. Eventually we got a little portaloo, it wasn't the ideal work environment. And I think one of the motivators for me actually to make the skate park better was actually for my own kind of selfish reasons, really, to just have a nicer, more enjoyable place to work from. But, just enjoyed spending time making it better for everybody around us. So you get a lot of parents coming down, but there was no facilities for spectators. So, when we first started, there were no floodlights in the skate park. So people had to stop skating when it got dark. So which meant pretty much, you finish school, maybe get changed, get to the skate park, manage to get maybe an hour or whatever in, and then it's time to go home because it's too dark. So that's kind of where we started, really, addressing the problems that we experienced and dealing with them, and asking very generous funders to support us. So we're just reliant on, or we were reliant actually on a massive amount of support over the years to help us build this incredible space for community through skateboarding. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and we're in a wonderful place now. We've just come off the back of a very unpleasant period of pandemic, but during that period, we were able to build what I think is one of the greatest skate parks in the world, and I think a lot of people would agree. And not just not in terms necessarily of its size; it's not the biggest skate park in the world, but in terms of what it's doing for people who come here and how it's developing people, not just the users, but also the staff that we have down here. I think it's second to none. I think it's a wonderful place, and I don't take credit for that either. I think we've been very, very well supported by lots of different people, and if we hadn't had that support, we would never have reached where we are today. Could have all gone horribly wrong, but thankfully it hasn't. We're in a great place.
Absolutely, and it's a very iconic place. The location, again, you're just on the outskirts of the city centre. I mean, pretty much in the city centre still, but it's very convenient for people to get to, whether you're on public transport, you can get there quite easily. You could walk there from other parts of Manchester. And, when I think about the venue itself, the location, at first it was, as you said, just a skate park, put together by some passionate skaters under a motorway. Didn't have an address, nothing there, but now it's fully established. You've even got an address. I saw the address. I thought, wow, that just in itself shows you've come a long way from where it first started. Sometimes I'm sure when you look at the journey, when you reflect back, you have to pinch yourself and think, how have we got this far? So, and it's been, you know, a labor of love for years. It's not overnight.
Yeah, I do reflect on that actually quite a lot because you know there have been times when it was really, really hard. It was a very difficult place to be, and you know we went through all kinds of difficulties. And it's not to say that there aren't challenges now, but they're a very different type of challenge. And because of the experience that we've got in dealing with similar situations in the past, you know, we're able to manage those in a calmer way, and they seem a lot more manageable than they used to. But yeah, it is a you know wonderful gift for the city, and it's a wonderful gift for me as the manager of the organisation, and it's a great place to be. It's a great place to spend time. I think you know it's hard to imagine a more enjoyable work environment. The staff team here seem to be happy. They tell me it's the greatest place they've ever worked, and you know I believe what they tell me. And there are opportunities for growth in what we do. So if somebody's got an idea, for instance, we like to try and encourage them to pursue it and then give them some support in doing that. So yeah, we employ a really friendly, welcoming bunch of people who genuinely care about other people. And one of the things that we always said about the skate park and what our ethos should be, we wanted it to be a space where, regardless of how good you were at skateboarding, regardless of how talented you were, or how you know you might be perceived as being cool or whatever, you would be cared for as much, whether you're a complete beginner or whether you're you know the best skateboarder in the world. You know, there's no we don't do a kind of elitist thing here. We want people to know that they're valued because they're a person, and that's it. You know, we want to care for them as much as we care for everybody else. And that's really come through because that attitude then gets engendered amongst the young people who use the space and the children and even the parents as well. And so we often get comments, you know, coming back for Google reviews or people just mentioning it to us about how wonderful their staff have been. And there have been absolutely incredible stories, mind-blowing. Like I wouldn't have expected the kinds of things, or to hear the kinds of things that I've been hearing. I mean, one example, I don't think it's too fresh to share it, but there was a guy who came in only a few weeks ago, and he came by for a coaching class. We do an adult session, which you're very welcome to come along to, Amos, if you want to get back into skateboarding.
I've seen your homepage. It's certainly got, you know, a few people there. I was looking and thinking they don't look like teenagers.
No.
Made me feel a bit more.
We're just trying to encourage people who wouldn't ordinarily get into skateboarding.
Yeah.
I think everybody probably secretly wants to have a go. So we're just trying to make it easier for people. But yeah, this one guy came down. He'd got it on his bucket list of things he wanted to do before he died. And he ended up just having a little skate, but then chatting all evening with one of our coaches. You know, gave him a lot of time and listened to him. And then he went away and we didn't see him for a while. And he popped back in before he was leaving to go back to his home country. And he said to our coach, who was there at the time, I just wanted to say thank you to you because I was making skateboarding the last thing I was going to do before I committed suicide. And the reason I didn't commit suicide was because of the conversation I had with you. You gave me a reason to keep going. And he told me this just a couple of weeks ago. I was just blown away. Like, it's just, you know, staggering, really, that one person can make such a big difference to someone's life. Those little conversations that you're having, the smile that you give to somebody, the positive affirmation that you give somebody, the encouragement you give somebody, just listening to somebody really can make an absolute difference for people, and literally a life and death difference for this particular person. So yeah, we try to encourage our staff to always be thinking about the person coming in and serving them and making them feel welcome to the space. And we don't, obviously not everybody's in that situation, but just, you know, you can't help but reflect it, how that could have gone the opposite way. So yeah, very grateful for our team. They're a lovely, lovely bunch. And yeah, it's making a big difference, and which is great.
Isn't that incredible to think that you changed the trajectory of somebody's life, and you know what could have been a tragedy was abated and it was completely changed because of that experience that they had.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's fascinating. What an incredible story just to hear that, and how you impact so many lives. And sometimes, not everybody's going to tell you the impact that you're making, but you're certainly doing something.
Mm.
And do you
That's
think,
right.
yeah, and I mean, at the moment now, there seems to be a lot going on in Manchester, especially that part of Manchester. There's a huge new project as well, at the back of the park with
Mayfield
a new
development.
park coming and new theatres and all sorts. That's clearly going to be attracting more business for yourselves. Um, Talk to us about that side of things. Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, and it's already opened. We're already experiencing some of the benefits of it. We're getting more passing trade, people popping in for a coffee. We do amazing coffee, but we're hidden away, from the rest of the city to some extent. So Mayfield's this amazing opportunity to bridge that gap between, say, the northern quarter and the city centre, towards the Ardwick direction. So we get more people coming down, more people seeing, people just popping by. We've got two amazing women working in our cafe who love to bake, and their cakes are fantastic, and almost irresistible. So it's quite hard to work here without constantly kind of going down and ordering cake and brownies. And they do these amazing vegan chocolate brownie things that are just like the best thing you'll ever eat. So
Sounds delicious.
I mean, they are, yeah. They're really, really good. So yeah, we're trying to let people know that they can come in, that they don't have to be a skateboarder to come in here. You can just come in, use the Wi-Fi, enjoy a coffee and a cake, or some, a bacon sandwich or whatever it is you want, and just sit down and enjoy being in this peculiar but really welcoming environment. Yeah, it's a good place to sit and watch. We've got two indoor spectator areas. So we've got the cafe downstairs, then there's an upstairs room that we lease out for hire for various groups who want to do things in it. But generally, it's just an upstairs cafe space, and you can just sit down there and enjoy a cafe in a relaxed environment with, with a coffee or tea, and get on with some stuff, or just relax. And we've also got this nice viewing platform, so you can look over the skate park and see the skateboarders doing what they do, and the scooterers and all the people in the park, whizzing around and having a good time. And again, that's quite an enjoyable experience as well. So yeah, there's lots of places for people who don't skateboard to enjoy being in this kind of environment, and appreciating what it's like to be skateboarding without actually doing the activity. And again, that's one of the other sides to what we do. We try to make skateboarding accessible. So it's not just about opening the doors and saying welcome to skateboarders. It's about opening the doors and saying we want anybody who would want to try skateboarding to get the opportunity to do it here with us. And that's been a major difference in what we're doing in comparison to, say, lots of other skate parks across the UK. Not that they don't, that lots of them have started doing coaching now, but we're looking at who isn't using the skate park and asking why not, and then trying to invite those people in. So a few years ago, I was actually looking back at this recently. It was actually back in 2007. We started to address this really strange disparity between the number of women or females generally, and males using the skate park. So we had about 99% of our users were male. And it was like, okay, maybe girls didn't want to skate that much, but like 1%, I mean, that seems ridiculously low. And we, did various consultations, and we were doing work in schools at the time as well. So we were going out to schools, and we still do. We're doing about, I don't know how many now, but 30 odd school sessions a week, sending coaches off to deliver sessions across Manchester. Again, all with the aim of making skateboarding accessible. But we didn't notice the disparity in school sessions. You'd get a roughly even number of males and females taking part. So we thought, what's going on at the skate park to make it like this? And actually, that's general for skate parks across wherever we went. It was always the same. Like the general street skating scene or open park skating scene was predominantly male, like enormously predominantly male. So we asked one of the girls why they didn't come, and they gave us the simple reason, really. It's intimidating to go into a skate park that's full of boys that stare at you when you come into the skate park. and it's intimidating to be in a skate park where everybody's better than you. So those are the two main reasons. Equipment access wasn't really one of them. Price wasn't one of them. So we had these two main reasons. So we thought, well, this is simple. We can solve this problem. We'll put on a special night. We'll do it once a month to start with and see how it goes. And it would just be exclusively female. We'll have male coaches. At the time, I think we only had male coaches. Now it's pretty much entirely female staff as well. So we started that back in 2007. And the growth that we saw was amazing. I don't know of anything like it. Like, we've moved from about 27 visits a year from females to over 9,000 visits a year from females. So girls now represent more than 30% of our users, and it's still growing. So that's just been one of the remarkable things that we've done. But we're still doing that work. We do weekly girls only sessions. We do 2 sessions per night on a Thursday night, I think it's a Thursday. We've got adults night on a Wednesday night. But yeah, then we started looking at maybe adults want to get involved because they feel like they perhaps don't fit into the normal skateboarding world because there's a lot of younger people in, and maybe when you're a bit older, you don't want to kind of, be skateboarding around with little kids and whatnot, because you might just make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So we put on an adults night, and again, that's been a huge success and seen a huge growth in the number of older people skateboarding. Then we thought, okay, well, disabled people tend to get overlooked so often in activities like this because it's seen as something that's only for people who are able-bodied. And so we started doing workshops for disabled people as well. We do 2 a week on a Friday, and we go out to do sessions over in North Manchester and in some schools as well. So yeah, they've been amazing too, working closely with partners like Billy and Andy's music school. Young Manchester have supported us in these sessions. We've had support from Manchester City Council as well. So yeah, really enjoying pushing out skateboarding to give people the opportunity to enjoy it as much as we all do as members of staff here, because everybody here pretty much, apart from I think our accountants, they all skate and they love skateboarding to varying degrees, and we get a lot of pleasure out of it. And it seems unfair that some people might miss out on that opportunity just because of who they are, where they're from. For us, it's about making it accessible to everybody.
Absolutely. It's great when you hear stories like that. And again, getting everybody involved, and it's not making it just for a specific group. And, for the likes of us who just want to go and enjoy the ambience and just to, be able to have a good coffee, a good vegan cake, and a laptop working away, and just knowing that, you're just in a nice, chilled environment just makes it very welcoming. Do you find that you get a lot of support from, you mentioned the council supports you? I mean, skating, is huge in the Olympics now. Do you find Sport England are behind you? Are you finding that the Velodrome, are they supporting you? Are these other national organizations, the National Lottery maybe, do they support you as well?
Yeah, so we do get support from external organisations. As I mentioned before, we developed this recent site and opened it in the middle of the pandemic. We opened it on the 1st of August 2020, where there'd been a release of restrictions, I think, if you remember, for about 3 months. But before that, we'd raised £1 million in funding and other support through a variety of funders and investors. So that included Veolia Environmental Trust, who were astonishingly generous, providing almost £300,000 in investment and funding, actually, capital funding. That is for the building works, for the fixed kind of costs that we're going to be spending on building a bigger, better skate park that was more accessible in every way, and more coherent and more sustainable. Sport England, they were the first to give us some funding for this. They gave that a few years back, even before. They were early adopters, if you like. They've given us funding, 2 big pots of funding, because we've developed the site in 3 stages. So back in 2012, we had a big wodge of money from Sport England to triple the size of the skate park. And we demonstrated that when we increased the capacity of the park, automatically seems to lead to an increase in the number of people visiting, which I think demonstrates that the demand for skateboarding, as you say, Amos, is quite high. So we went back to the funders and said, look, we still think that's the case. Let us expand it again, but we need some money to do it. And so Sport England gave us £100,000 plus, 50,000 revenue for staffing costs and whatnot. Veolia gave us a load of money. A group called Power to Change, who are a less well-known funder, but they were, again, incredibly generous. Gave us over £270,000 to build this new space. We had support from so many groups. Cooperatives UK, a group called Locality gave us development funding to actually get the idea off the ground, to do business planning. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there were quite a lot. We did a crowdfunding campaign as well. It wasn't, strictly speaking, it wasn't actual crowdfunding. It was a community share issue. So you could buy a share in the organisation. You became a member of the organisation. ProjektsMcr is a not-for-profit community benefit society. So when you buy a share in the organisation, it means you become a member of the organisation, and you can come to annual general meetings and vote on who's on our board of directors. And yes, we issued shares particularly to raise money for this big expansion project, and we got a very generous match funder, and we raised £134,000 through that process as well. And about 60 or 70, I think it was about 72 individual investors. So yeah, that was really hard work, really great fun, well worth doing. But yeah, we got a lot of investment through that, and we borrowed some money through social investment. So GMCVO has lent us, I think they lent us a significant amount of money, and then a group they were called First Arc at the time lent us some money as well. So we're paying those debts back. Yeah, so we got a lot of money. As far as the national governing body goes, we're a member of the NGB. We're supporting their work. I've been working closely with them for a number of years now, helping to develop their coaching strategy. And yeah, we love what they're doing and what they're wanting to do, particularly on the front of developing skateboarding, because I think the mass participation in skateboarding makes a larger difference to the lives of people than the elite side of the sport. But the elite side of the sport's very exciting. It gets people engaging. It's a great way of bringing revenue into organisations who are working with skateboarding. So it's a positive thing as well. It's just that we don't tend to work on that side as much because we're very focused on the community aspect. But yeah, all good stuff. It's fantastic. And we, as far as the velodrome goes, we don't have any particularly strong links with the velodrome, but at the National Cycling Centre. But we have worked with them in the past. We've delivered coaching classes down there. So everyone knows everyone in this kind of area. They do a lot of development work with cycling. We do a lot of development work in skateboarding, and it's great fun when we're able to collaborate on different things together. So yes, it's a lot of different groups all supporting one another, and we've been recipients of some very generous funders support in the last few years.
And because of the service that you provide, you've been very inclusive. You've reached out to so many people. You've so many communities. It's not just focused on one particular group, and it always comes back to that. It's that inclusivity. It's wanting everybody to enjoy the whole, the experience, and to changing lives. The story that you told of your colleague and that gentleman, you completely impacted somebody's life, and goodness knows how many other people you do that to daily. So it certainly has a place. It's become a cultural centre in Manchester. It's a reference point. It's certainly making a big difference in so many lives, and may you continue to do so.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope we do.
Yeah,
looking very positive. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. Got a big staff team who are working hard to make sure everybody gets their skateboarding every day. We've got the Mayfield, like you said, opening nearby, and we're collaborating with them. We're hoping to do very early days, but we're in talks with them about expanding a little bit further. There's a little plot of land just at the edge of the skate park, about 200 square meters, that we're really hoping to get enclosed within our skate parks. At the moment, you see these little bits of land around. They're just spaces that are between pavements and other things, and they don't really serve any purpose. They're just like concrete or cobbles or something. And for us, anything under the flyover is potential skateboarding space. And if you can get hold of that space, it means you can put on another coaching class. You can expand the number of people who you're able to work with, and like you said, change lives with. So yeah, we're really hoping to do a little expansion in there. I say little, I mean, it'll still be fairly pricey business because fencing's expensive, concrete's expensive. You've got the design work to go through and various other things to go through. But compared to the whole space that we have, it's relatively small patch, but it's going to make a big difference to the number of people we're able to work with. So yeah, there's things like that going on, and we're developing all the time within the space itself. So we want to set up the space as a regular venue, so that we're able to build a kind of music-based community within the skate park as well. So we're quite excited to be doing that. It's very early days, but we've had some live bands down in the last few weeks. They've been really fun events, and the bands have been, some of them have come over from the US and really love the space, and it's just inspired us even more to make it a usable space for that kind of thing. So yeah, lots of fun plans to do good new stuff and make the most of the space that we've been given.
Fantastic. And how can the audience connect with you? How can they find out more about Projects Manchester?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're on all of those. If you just type in Projects, it's spelt in a strange way. It has a K instead of a C, so it's Projekts, Projects. And then if you just put MCR or Manchester, it should come up. All of that information is on our website. You can email us. We're very good at responding to emails, I think. Or you can just pop down for a chat, grab a coffee, and we don't even have to buy anything. Just come in and have a chat with us if you like. So yeah, I think you'll hopefully find that our team are very friendly, and they're always up for a chat with locals. So yeah, just come on down and say hello.
Fantastic. John Haines, thank you very much indeed. We'll put all the links below and make sure the audience can connect with you. John, when I think about you, you're a vision, you've got a great vision. You're very inclusive. You want to bring everybody into the fun, into the party. You're a pioneer, you're a trailblazer. You certainly, changed so many lives. You've gone into a place that was completely abandoned, forgotten, left behind, and made something of it. And the authorities saw this and they thought, hang on a minute, there's something going on here. We could make something, connect with Projects Manchester and do something even bigger. And when you think about Mayfield, why was it even put there? I think sometimes because of your location and because of what you started, you are the original pioneers, but as a result of you going there, the whole area has been regenerated, and we know what that part of Manchester used to be like. And there's so much difference. There's a lot of regeneration going on there at the moment, and it's changing for the better. And it's thanks to people like yourself who've gone in there at the very start when there is absolutely no resources and said, let's do something. And you've made a difference in so many lives. And I want to say thank you for that. Thank you very much.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm not sure I can take credit for all of that, but I'd certainly appreciate the encouragement. It's very kind. It's very nice to hear.
You're welcome.
And thanks for having me on the show. So I do appreciate it. Yeah, it's fun.
If you want some amazing inspiration, check out the videos next to me, and I'll see you right there.